Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. I hope everybody is doing okay on this lovely Friday afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you may be tuning in from. I am very grateful that you are here on the channel this afternoon for me and hanging out with us in chat. So let's get this show on the road, guys. I'm excited for today's flight. This is one of those flights where we did it during the Euro Tour, and I was kind of blown away by how beautiful the terrain is. And then I had some members in the Discord show me some real life pictures of what it's like out there in real life, and it was it's pretty incredible. So Holger Teutsch, shout out to you, man, in chat. I was happy to see you here. I was wondering if you were going to join this stream or not. Holger Teutsch has been around the channel for a long time, guys. In fact, several years ago when I think I released one of my first ever Airbus Professional Series videos, he was on there commenting and asking questions. So it's great to see you around. I believe you also sent me some pictures of Lugano as well. So if you guys are wondering why I am departing out of LIRA instead of LIRF Rome, it's because your true American Texan filed the wrong ICAO code. So we're just going to roll with it here. We're going to go out of this, I believe that's a little small GA style airport, but hey, we're on the ramp. We'll put up some air stairs. We'll get connected. So it's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, I totally dropped the ball on that one. Filed the wrong ICAO code. I was looking at the taxi chart and I'm like, this looks pretty small. So I don't know if this is the right airport. And then I realized LIRF is what I should have filed. So it's okay. We'll improvise, adapt, and overcome. We are in the latest dev version of the FlyByWire Mod 320, and I'm so excited for this specific version because we have the bird. All the members in the chat, you guys know what the bird is. It's our flight path angle marker, which is now modeled. So we are going to be utilizing the flight path angle in the Airbus A320 today to successfully shoot a totally illegal approach for this airplane into an airport, but nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of fun. So shout out in chat. Miss Jungle's good to see you here. Blue Mac Barn Bosky, how's it going, man? Welcome to Commercial Barn Bosky. Welcome to the channel, man. Exclamation point welcome if you have any more if you need any more information about your new perks, but glad to have you on board, Barn Bosky. That reminds me, the podcast that is, what did I say, November, December, I apologize, guys. It's been a couple days. I've been at work all week. We'll talk about that during this flight, but I'm going to try to get that out this weekend. I know I had to re-edit some stuff. So, Barn, you do have access to the podcast now, which I'll be dropping another one this weekend. I'm really going to get that out for you guys. So, Track FPA, Hotshot, you got it right, man. Al W, good to see you. Flying Guitar Sam is in the house. OpSpecs, what's going on, man? I love the name. I love the names that are aviation swagger. OpSpecs, that's a good one. Captain Geo, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're staying safe on the road, my friend. Swarm 3513, Airbus 737, what is up? Anthony Anderson, Dave Hagen, Robin H, Guru KN, and Fly Guy. What is up, guys? So let me, without further ado, guys, let's hop into the cockpit. Now, I do have something cool that I do want to show you. Just before I hop into the cockpit, I do have my drone camera set up now with well, I'll show you after we get everything boarded up, but I have my drone camera set up to a PlayStation controller, believe it or not. So it's pretty cool. We'll get some cool shots going in here. Let's get this airplane fired up. Battery 1, battery 2 is going to come online. I'm going to turn on some integral lighting here. We'll actually turn on the KGB, aka dome light as well. We're going to go straight into external power mode. We'll turn that on. Nav light will go into position 2 since we only have one position on there. Cruise supply oxygen. Wow, that's a little bit loud, huh? Let's go ahead and turn you down, Mr. Flight Simulator. Turn that down just a little bit there. It's that self-test of the fans are a little bit loud when you fire up the airplane. So we got that. So I think the audio should be a little bit better now. Cruise supply oxygen is on. Let's get the ADIRS into align mode here. We'll go nav 1, nav 2, and nav 3. We'll leave the fuel tank pumps off for now. The rest of the overhead looks good. Science can remain off, and no lights over there. So that is good. We're going to try to utilize our back to work, off the gate in 20 minutes videos. I've been putting out a short series of videos and tutorials for this very airplane, the FlyByWire Mod 320. So if you want to kind of slow down and follow some procedures, check those videos out. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from them. So I hope you guys are enjoying those as well. We're going to continue getting those little mini series out, if you will. We are going to try to utilize our sim brief here today, so let's brighten you up here. And, matter of fact, while we're down here, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go, if I remember how to do this now, ATSU, AOC menu, init, and we're going to initialize our data request here. Dog is freaking out as on cue. Jeremy Harvey, what's up, man? Battery voltage is still too low. You know it, man. You know it. I saw that 25.4. That's something that will have to get changed at a little bit. I actually had to charge a battery this week when I was back to work, so I did do a battery charge. It was like 25 point. I think it actually was 25.4. So it was just something very small. So put the ground power on, connected the battery, and charged the battery, and we were good to go. All right. So there's our flight plan. All Italia 1013. LIRA to LSZA, that looks good. Now we can go back to our init and we'll init request, uplink in progress. Look at that, beautiful. So now that we know that that's gonna go ahead and do its thing, I'm gonna go right before, just like I do in my video off the gate in 20 minutes thing, we're gonna come back here, we're gonna do the perf weight and balance as well. We're gonna load up the airplane, then we'll verify everything with the flight plan. Hotshot says battery voltage will be edited when we make our own electrical system, which is in progress right now. Hotshot, excellent. I do have to say, guys, let me go ahead and hit refuel, load the fuel here. This fly-by-wire mod team, everybody that is involved in this endeavor, making this airplane great, are doing a fantastic job. I'm talking from sounds to lighting, to systems. I mean, and the amount of work, I don't know if you guys are in their Discord or not. I mean, you should check it out. I got the link to their website down below. But the amount of work and community that is going on behind this airplane is honestly like nothing I've ever seen before personally. Now, I know Zibo did a lot of that for X-Plane. I wasn't very involved in the Zibo. As you can imagine, I'm an Airbus guy, so I wasn't too I don't want to say interested. It just wasn't my cup of tea, right, for the 737. But I did see what they were doing, and then when I flew the Zibo, I was extremely impressed. So it's kind of, I imagine it's very similar to what the Zibo team did. But this one, being in the Discord and seeing the updates and seeing the dev progress, being in communication with one of the gentlemen there for the sounds as well is unreal. So I think it's awesome. That's going to go ahead and continue line. We've got IRS align in 5 minutes, so let's take a look at our flight plan. We're going to verify some flight plan stuff here. We don't want to get carried away because it is nice and easy to load everything up here, but we also want to check. So I got to go to my PDF and turn this on the screen here. Let me get that out of the way of the keys. This is the one thing that I don't like about this sim is we don't have a very easy way to look at our charts and stuff as a streamer. I gotta manipulate stuff here. I'm gonna manipulate the size of this on the stream. There we go. So you can still see the McDo. Steve Van, what's up, man? He says loving this mod more than Christmas. Steve, that's awesome, man. Glad to hear it. All right, I do need to. Can't see my push buttons. There we go. All right, that is up. I'm gonna move you over here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so initialization here. Let's take a look at this. Our alternate is EDDF. Hopefully we don't have to go there. I'll tell you 1013, cost index of 12. Those are rookie numbers. Let's bump that up to 75. I know that was in the flight plan, but we want to land as light as possible anyway. We might have to do a circle. Flight level 300, that's a little high from SimBrief. I don't know if we can make 30. It's a short flight. Let's change that. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it 260. Just because it's not a very long flight, we'll do 260 there. And looking at our flight plan, oh gosh, I have to click, that's right, or else it moves. We need to go up to the filed. There we go. I'm going to highlight this here. We'll take our little highlighter tool. Highlight our route so we can see it a little bit better. So Sovan 5 Victor. Now I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out here. I believe we want to take off of 3-3 if we can. So we're going to do 3-3. Maybe we can't. Maybe it has to be a 1-5. I think it might have to be a 1-5 departure. According to what I have. No, that doesn't have that. Okay, so you know what? Let's just leave it. Let's erase that. Let's go ahead and do here departure 3-3 insert to Sovan Amtel. So L995. So that's in there. all the way down to Sierra Romeo November for the 6 Lima arrival. So arrival, there are none in the database. So this is going to be interesting. This is something that I probably should have prepared for a little bit better before. Now this airport is not in the database. It doesn't appear. So what we're going to have to do is we're just going to fly up there, and then we're going to do a visual approach, and we'll do hard navigation, like a hard, like rad nav. We might even use our LS push buttons. I'm sorry, our Rose nav to track inbound and fly through the mountains. But other than that, 333 miles, that looks pretty good. Let me put you into plan mode so we can just verify. I'm going to skip through here. That's what it should look like all the way up to LSZA. So that does look good. We'll be able to use our Rose nav and intercept any nav aids as we get a little bit further on. So I'm going to go ahead and close that PDF down. Oh, actually, scratch that. We do need to verify our fuel. So I'm going to come down here. Actually, there we go. Man, I missed that Avi tab for sure. All right, planned gate fuel. We need 15.7, or I'm sorry, that's takeoff. Planned gate fuel is 16.1. We're going to be remaining 9.2. That's a lot of gas. That's because we have an alternate. So we're planning to burn 6,500 pounds. All right, that should be good. Let's check that. We do have 16.3 on board, and that looks good. So we have our fuel. We're going to leave that disco in our flight plan just because we know what we're going to be doing when we get there. And we can go ahead and put you back in here. We'll wait for one more minute there on our alignment. We do need to get our ATIS here, so let's just see what the weather is here. I don't know. I'm not on VATSIM today just because I wanted to kind of relax and just talk with you guys as we go up there. And I know we're going to be doing some non-standard procedures, so that's why I figured just take it off VATSIM. I've been flying all week. I've been talking on the radio all week. I'm ready to just relax and hang out with you guys. 2980 here.
Altimeter 29.80. Visual.
Okay, that's all I need to know. 2980.
Airport information kilo 14000. Wind 03 8 at 8. Visibility.
Why is my there we go. My cursor was in a weird spot there. All right, that's all done aligning. We'll go ahead and put our flight directors on. Our top altitude, we're going to not use ATC like I said, so we're going to go straight up to 260. We'll turn our constraint modes on. 2980 is set. And let's just finish looking at our box here. Our flight plan is in there. We're not going to do a secondary RadNav page. There's nothing the hard tune coming out of here. We're going to be basically a nav off the gate. I'll be in a heading mode, then go right into nav mode. Progress page, GPS is primary, nav accuracy is high. Perf data, let's preliminary load in our speeds here. And then we're going to put in our flaps, and then do we still have to load them? Let's see. If I do flap, for cinematic purposes, we're going to do flaps 2. I know it's a 7,000-foot runway. Let's see what it does to our speeds. Yeah, that changes our speeds. We're going to do flaps 2 takeoff Toga. Flaps 2 Toga, 27, 28, 32 off of runway 33. That looks good to me. And my dog is freaking out, of course. Right on cue, so that looks good. Up to 260. And I think we're ready to start getting this thing on the road here. Put our VORs on so we can auto-tune those. We'll go ahead and put the FO's constraint mode on. I think boarding is pretty much simulated complete here. What we're going to do is we're going to start up, and we're just going to make a left turn out, and we'll make a right turn out and head over to 33. So very short taxi out. So let's go ahead and let's close it up here. Let's get our beacon light on. Actually, before I do that, we'll go ahead and turn the beacon back off. We're going to start the AP. What am I doing? Look at me, man. Haven't had enough coffee here. Seatbelts on, auto. Arm those. Wait for a flap open down here. Sam says, let's be honest, the fly-by-wire mod is what's keeping most of the player base in Flight Simulator. You're 100% right. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you, man. Dolus bounce because the EFB is coming? I know. I saw the pictures, man. I saw the pictures. I'm very excited. We'll go ahead and spool it up here. Oh, did you hear that? I'll move this out over here. Just enjoying that APU startup. David says, I think LSZA is available in the marketplace. Really? What if the dog starts barking when the PTU comes on? I love this APU sound, man. Honestly, this APU. Hotshot. These sounds, dude. I'm telling you guys, I was walking around airplanes this week. I was checking them out. I wanted to get outside, you know, see what's going on. And this is what the APU sounds like. This is what the APU sounds like. No lie. This is the APS, right? 3200 or something like that. Now, I actually flew. I was doing some APU studying before my before going back into the sim. And matter of fact, let me see how. Do we have an APU page? So 100%. So this APU will operate at 100%. This is the, oh my gosh, it's the APS, right? It's not the Honeywell. So the Honeywell APU will actually operate at 99% between, I believe it's 18 to minus 18 and 35 degrees Celsius, and then out of those ranges, or maybe it's not quite minus 18, but there's a range at which it pretty much operates at 99%. And then once you're out of those ranges, it goes to 100%. But this particular APU here does operate at 100% even on the real airplane, so that's good to see there. So we've got our APU on. We'll go ahead and turn the bleed on. No longer need external power. Now we can go ahead and turn on that beacon light. And we'll go ahead and get ready to start them up here. No longer need the APU page. All right, windows, doors, and slides closing arm. Beacon is on. Thrust level's idle. Thrust lever is idle. I'm just going to squawk 2000 because we're just going to be chilling. I'm going to go auto here, and then I'm going to leave that into, since we're not on that sim, I'm going to do real procedures anyway with the transponder. So we'll leave that auto. We'll leave the TARA off. And let's go ahead and fire up engine 1, guys. I'm super excited for these sounds. Check this out here. I'll stop talking. We got our bleed pressure starting engine 1. That fuel light off sound. I gotta hand it to the CFM. That leap. I mean, the leap light off is pretty cool. I'm a huge Pratt guy, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. That light off on the ignition is pretty good. So since we have a really short taxi, we're gonna go ahead and just fire up both engines here at the stand. One FD2. Let's go ahead and set that up. One FD2. Wait for our avail light here to pop up. There's our avail light in our N1, so let's go ahead and fire up engine 2. PTU going off there for a second. Bravo Tango, what's up, man? It says I can't watch the stream right now. I'll try to catch up for the landing later. Take it easy, man. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Hotshot says yes, the APS 3200 bleeds and packs will be overhauled very soon. I can't wait. I can't wait, Hotshot. Yep, amazing. Sam says that light off sound gets me amazing. Dude, it is unreal. Jeremy said the airline I'm hoping to join wrote me back. Jeremy, that is fantastic news, man. I'm glad to hear it, dude. Hopefully that continues to progress, my friend. Canada Airliner, what's going on, man? He says the man himself. How are you doing? Are we testing a new update of the bus mod? So we are on the most current dev version of the FlyByWire mod. Most important to me in this latest update for the FlyByWire mod is the use of the track FPA, or flight path angle function, otherwise known as Gimme the Bird. So we're going to utilize this. I wasn't going to do this approach unless we had track FPA, because if we have to circle keep in mind, you wouldn't take an Airbus in here. This would be completely illegal anyway, but it's flight sim, so it's fun. We're going to try to do it as realistic as possible. But I would not take an airplane in here if I didn't have track FPA mode, especially if we've got to be doing a descending turn on a circle to land, or even just trying to come in there on approach. The glide path angle is 6.5 degrees, so there's no way we can fly that in a 320. So what we're going to have to do is either come in low and land to the north, which is fun because we're going to fly up the river. It's one of the most beautiful approaches that I've ever seen. Or we're going to have to fly pretty much to the runway, break off, circle into the terrain, kind of like Calvi LFKC. We did that on the Euro tour. Now let's go ahead and extend flaps 2 for cinematic purposes. Brandon says FlyByWire is making the Pratt Whitney for the 320. That would be pretty sweet, man. I would love to see that. All right, we got flaps 2. Ground spoilers are armed. APU bleed. That can come off. After start checklist is complete here. Let's see. Pitch trim is going to be, there we go, 0.5% CG set. All right, let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And taxi light is on. I've got that bound. Let's get out of here. Hopefully we won't hit that little car over there. Gosh, I love it, man. Those guys are in danger. We're taxiing at 3-3, so it's short taxi right down here on the ramp. We'll go hold short, and then we will do our before takeoff checks as we let these engines warm up. Little GA airport coming out of here. That's on me, man. We totally should have been taken off out of LIRF. Oh well. It sounded like PC air, the ignition. All right, here we go. What do we got over here? What is that? A little Embraer. Nice little turboprop. It's got Garrett's on it, whatever it is. All right, as we hold short of the runway here, we're going to just set the parking brake and do all of our checks. I don't think we've got anybody waiting to take off out of this airport, but it should be a pretty beautiful flight today. I cannot wait for that approach. All right, here is 3-3. We're going to hold short. A lot of you guys were asking, like, how do you know when you hold short, like how far back? I like to stop the airplane right about here when I can just see this hold short line disappearing under the nose. Oops, wrong way. Go ahead and set the brake. That way, you know that your airplane is clearly short of the whole short line. You don't want to go all the way up to it and have your nose sticking out. Yeah, that's kind of a real life thing anyway. I mean, probably could have got a little bit closer, but either way, that's good. All right, let's go ahead and do our flight control checks here. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. Auto brakes max, takeoff config. We'll go ahead and turn our radar, PWS auto, TCAS TARA, and flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff. Go ahead. I think we gotta do the forward one, right? There we go. That is set. Brakes max. I think we're ready to go, guys. Off the gate in 20 minutes. I think we're pretty much good to go. It is 14:46, so perfect. And lock that. Oops. All right, here we go. Light them up. Let's get out of here. So beautiful, this sim. Christopher said, I wish the sim would allow different environmental conditions on startup, like getting into a cold-soaked airplane. That would be cool, where you have to do a proper warm-up and make sure that the engines are at the right temperature. That would be pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, there's not much Airbus speaking. Oh my gosh, this is a narrow runway. Look at me, I just taxied off of the runway. That's not good. I wasn't paying attention there. Good thing tower's closed. Simulate that tower's closed. This is a shorter runway, so we're going to simulate because I actually have to fly into a very short runway next week. We're going to simulate static thrust here. That static thrust departure. That should be good. Wing light, come on. We're ready to go, guys. I'm going to spool them up 50% here. And then we're going full yoga. Gotta love it. All right, Toga SRS runway auto thrust is blue. There's a truck on the runway. There is a truck on the runway. Reject, I have control. Is this guy gonna hit me? Oh my gosh. Oh, rotate. I don't want to hit the truck. Wow. Freaking bus. A freaking bus on the runway, man. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Default scenery, too. I'm telling you guys, this sim is the future right here. Disarm the ground spoilers. Wait for acceleration altitude here. I'm going to go over my joystick settings here in a minute because I've done some significant tweaking and I think I've found kind of the sweet spot of what I like anyway. VFNX, let's go flaps 1. We'll go autopilot 1. It's going to pitch down. I'm going to go flap 0. Look at that shot coming out of here. Sam says Azobo is apparently working on getting vehicles off active taxiways and runways. Yeah, they definitely need to work on that, man. Pulled out right in front of me. The bus was on center line, James says. That bus was 10 for 10 center line. No doubt about it. All right, what's going on up here? Let's go ahead and make sure we are speed out. I'm going to go open climb now. Thrust climb, open climb, 250. Up we go, guys. Gosh, that is beautiful, though. Leanne says 2 buses. You're right, man. We got 2 buses. Today on Airbus versus ground bus. Oh, man. This sim. This version of the FlyByWire mod with the track FPA model, honestly, when I did my first test flight on this approach yesterday, I really started to think I'm going to be spending a lot more time in FS 2020 just because of the sheer beauty on this simulator, the ease of use for content creators. You don't have to be downloading orthos, creating orthos, making sure everything is in line. It's all there. If you don't have an airport, that's fine. The default is really good. The lighting makes all the difference. I was going back through one of the comments, and one of the comments said in a 2D world, like playing a simulator, lighting makes all the difference. And I couldn't agree more. The lighting in the simulator, I think, really sets it apart from everything else out there. What's our call sign? We're All Italia 1013, but we are offline today. We are offline. Pavel, what's up, man? He says, hello, I'm late. We're in Europe. Yes, we are. I figured we'd take a break from flying around the U.S. and, we're going to set transition on the altitude. Yeah, that's right. A little bit lower here. Take a break, and we're going back to something out of the Euro Tour. So there's 10.8 climbing 260. We are looking good. Let's zoom this range out a little bit here. I mean, but just look at that. The Classy Traveler says, hopefully one day, that's another good name, Classy Traveler. Hopefully one day we will never have to buy any third-party add-ons or tweaks for a sim. A dream come true. I honestly think that is where FS 2020 is really going to excel. We should probably turn off our lights here. We'll go taxi light, landing lights coming off, and then I'll get the wing light when we get back in the cockpit. Canada Airliner says, hey, Captain, how hard is it? Switch from right seat to left seat. It's funny you bring that up, man. So when I got in the sim, so the first time I actually got in the simulator on, I believe it was, I don't even remember it. worked basically 6 days in a row. Sunday, I believe. Sitting down and then putting my left hand on the stick, that's weird. That is weird. Because we've spent the last 3 months using my Warthog, but you know, you get used to it. Honestly, after one touch and go or one missed approach, it's you get used to it. It's not like you spend a lifetime in a simulator and then you try to switch hands. It's throughout my career, you switch seats. You go from FO to captain, back to FO. As an instructor, you're switching seats, you know, depending on what level your student is on, whether they're commercial or a CFI student. So you get used to it in real life, I think a lot easier than most people would assume, you know, when you're just flying a simulator your entire life using one hand. In the real life, it's a little bit easier. You get used to it. Fubar says, saw that pic you posted in the Discord. How'd it feel to be back on the line? Guys, it felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That driving to the airport for my first real flight when I was done with the sim stuff. Go ahead and just make sure everything's looking good there. We're 17 climbing out. So when I was done, I'll turn this down just a little bit. Yeah, when I got into the airport, in the airport gate the first time in 3 months, it felt great. I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited like a little kid again. You know, you get that little anxious, not anxious, but just that, I don't know, that excitement feeling in your stomach, you know, little butterflies here and there. So I was super pumped going through the terminal, getting my coffee. I got to see my buddy at the coffee shop I always stop at. I told him last year, I was like, oh, I'll see you next year, man, because I'm not going to be here for the next 3+ months. And so I got to see him again. It was good. It felt good to be back online. VNAV work with the FlyByWire mod? I haven't done the extensive VNAV testing yet. Hotshot says, not yet. There you go. Jaden, this is Flight Simulator 2020, man. Flight Simulator 2020. Sharina Lee says, if you're a real Airbus pilot, you must be able to land the 320 smooth as butter. So, funny thing you brought that up. My first... Was it my first landing? Now, one of my second... I think it was like my second or third landing. I think it was my second landing this week back on the line in the real airplane. The sim landings were okay. I mean, the sim doesn't... In all honesty, the level D sim that you train on, awesome for procedures, and it does a pretty good job, but it doesn't... It's not like the real airplane in terms of landing. I feel like you can... Guys that land the sim really smooth tend to smash the airplane, and guys that smash the sim tend to land the airplane a little bit smoother. My sim landings were decent, nothing to write home about. But I had I think it was my second landing back online, coming into Dallas, 25 knot direct crosswind, right across the runway, 90 degrees, and I'm not even just saying this. It was definitely a butter. I mean, it was very smooth. Half deployment of the spoilers on one wing, and the other half came up. Got that 3-point touchdown. I was very proud of myself. And then I think the landing after that, it was a little bit more firm, but it felt good to get that first butter. Now in FS 2020, I don't know, man. My real world, I talked to Phantom 320 about this too. My real world landing techniques don't translate very well in the sim for some reason. I don't know if it's just the stick displacement or the resolution of your sensors and the joystick versus the actual Airbus side stick, but it's not exactly the same. I'll just put it that way. But we're gonna try. I don't know if we'll be getting any butters today in Lugano. It's a short runway, man. Have you ever done filming for your work as in takeoffs and landings? No, I don't do any filming in the real airplane, basically because it's very clear in our company procedures that electronic devices are prohibited. So I'm not supposed to be recording anything. Now, this anti-ice detected. Really? Alright, if you say so. Leveling 260 now. So I try not to do any recording of the real airplane. Now, I've done some in, you know, flying freight and flying corporate, and I've posted some videos to members of me, you know, in the airplane and stuff, but I don't know, I just feel like filming something and then putting it on the internet for everyone to see, and especially if it's against your company SOP, why would you even do that? Why would you risk your livelihood for that? So I know some guys do it. I actually watched a video, was it Citation Max, that somebody reported him to the FAA because some private pilot said that he didn't cross the runway, hold short line before he reported clear of the runway. I'm sure one of you guys know in the chat. I don't know if it was Citation Max or it was one of those real world corporate guys that fly their jets around, and he videotapes everything. And I watched that one video of him explaining why he got reported by the FAA, and he was pissed off, and I totally agree with him. A lot of it is situational, and there's a lot of guys that think they know everything, and they, you know, it's the internet. What are you going to do? So I try to keep it as separate but as parallel track as I can between my real life flying and this YouTube channel. I do this mainly to teach you guys procedures and techniques and to have fun. So I try to keep a parallel track. You know, I don't want to cross over because I have my livelihood, and then I have my, you know, passion. You definitely call this a passion. So, P1 Premier 1 driver, Chris. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, P1D Premier 1. Sorry. Yeah. So that was it. Somebody actually showed me that video, and I couldn't believe it. I was beside myself. And I've been in that situation numerous times flying GA aircraft when you know someone's in the pattern. You're situationally aware, and what a lot of people forget is that, you know, he's that Premier 1 driver in that instance. I don't know if you guys watched that video, but he obviously knew where everybody was in the pattern. He had good situational awareness. He knew that the guy behind him was going to be fine, so he was reporting clear as he's crossing the hold short line. Now, if you read it to the letter of the law, and I'm not making excuses for him or anybody, you're supposed to be clear of the hold short line before you say it. But in that situation where he was, I don't see how he did anything wrong. He was clearing the active runway. He was letting the airplane know behind him that he was going to be fine. I think there was somebody on approach right and somebody wanted to take off. So he had very good situational awareness, and there's things that he knows and that are going through his mind that whoever obviously reported him had no idea, and that just shows the lack of experience in the person that reported him. So I couldn't agree more with what he said, but that video is exactly why I don't show hardly any footage, real life footage, on the internet, just because I don't want to go down that road. There's no need to. Is there any third-party airplane coming soon? Airbus, etc. Gary, I don't. If you're talking for FS 2020, not that I know of. I think PMDG was the last. You know, there's a CRJ as well, but that got delayed. Do the button LEDs in the Airbus really fade on? I feel like they turn on a bit slower. Christopher, you're talking about like the anti-ice? Let's take a look at that. Let me see. Let me come up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Let's zoom in on it. I'm going to turn my wing light off too. No, well, they do. Actually, they come on a little bit faster. They come on a little bit faster, I think, in the real air. Let me turn on the wing anti-ice. Yeah, they don't fade on as slow. They don't fade on. They're pretty much instantaneous. Now, what does happen is you'll get a fault light here. So when I turn those off, I should get a fault light, and then the fault light would go away. The fault light simply resembles valve in transition. So no fault light. That's kind of weird. It's probably chilly in this cockpit. Let's go ahead and warm it up here. I guess we could have went all the way up to 30. We'll go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign off. Seems to be a smooth ride here. How are we looking down here? We are 263 miles. I'm going to clear out this disco down here just so we can... Why don't we have a fuel on board? Let me see. What are we missing here? So that looks good. Well, I know we're going to have plenty of gas because we got about 10,000 to go all the way to our alternate, so I think we're fine. I am going to change, gosh, the internal camera I need to work on. I am going to change, we are 260, so that is our cruise altitude, so we should be all right. We'll look at our flight plan here. Once we get past this turn over here at low mid, we're going to start looking at descending, checking that out. gosh, that looks beautiful though. Up the coast of Italy, man. How can I turn on the APU when fault signal is up due to low pressure? It had happened to me a few times. When fault signal... Carlos, so you're talking about starting engines, you got a low pressure? So you have to remember, once you start the APU, you got to turn on the APU bleed before you start the engines. If you just turn on the APU, you're not going to get any bleed pressure to start the APU. Oh, I'm sorry, to start the engines. You need to have bleed pressure, so that's a separate button. APU bleed, you want to turn that on before starting the engines. Where did you see that you're supposed to turn on anti-ice? I had a little ECAM message on there saying that we were picking up ice. We don't need it anymore. We're not flying invisible moisture, and, well, minus 36 sat. Technically, it'd be too cold. It'd be right on the limit. Let's see. If I turn it off, let's see if it gives me an ECAM. This airplane is fancy. It's got the, yeah, see, it says engine anti-ice detected. So for simism purposes here, we got to keep our engine anti-ice on, which that's okay. It'll help us burn a little bit more gas anyway, which I'm fine with because we have plenty of fuel. The lighter we are, the better as we come into Lugano. I hope we're not going to be too heavy. I didn't realize we had that alternate and nearly 10,000 pounds of gas extra, so it could be a little interesting here as we get down in the approach. Fuzzy Condor asks, the white numerical scale between the thrust levers, they don't match up to what N1 would be if you were out of auto thrust. Can you touch on why these numbers are low and the scale ends at 45? So the scale that you're looking at, let me look. Are you talking the real airplane or down here on the throttle column? Let's look here. Let me see what you're talking about. So this is 0. Oh, you're talking about these numbers? Whoa. 50%. So it doesn't match up to what N1 is saying. So this is just a scale of like a thrust lever angle. This is a thrust lever angle measurement, I believe. This is 0, and then this is like neutral or swing. Actually, I don't even know if this is right, to be honest with you. Now that you got me looking at this, I have to look at this. I'd have to look at this in the real airplane. Fuzzy Condor. I'd have to consult the real airplane image here, because for some reason, why would 0 be at full reverse? Unless this is thrust lever angle. This is correct here. This is 0. This solid white line here, this symbolizes the auto thrust range. So anything in solid white here, this is auto thrust. And actually, I have an interesting story I will tell you on the real world that happened to me just this last week here. So auto thrust is active between just above 0 all the way up to the flex MCT detent. The reason the MCT detent is included is because if you have a single engine emergency, you want to be able to move your thrust lever into maximum continuous thrust and it still be able to respond correctly during different flight phases or descents and climbs single engine with the auto thrust on. So the MCT detent is included in the auto thrust range. Now, interesting enough, flying into an undisclosed location, yours truly decided to turn off the auto thrust like I normally do once a trip, just so I can get that hand flying feeling back, right? And I thought it was especially important to do it this week because I haven't been in the airplane. I was like, let me get the feeling. I don't want to rely on too much automation. I want to get that muscle memory back. So I was on I was on a VNAV descent. And the airplane was a little bit high on profile due to the control. We had a late descent, so we were high on profile. What I did is I reduced the thrust levers to the idle position to disconnect the auto thrust, or so I thought. As I'm descending down, and I used the instinctive disconnect here, so I disconnected the auto thrust and I put them to idle, or so I thought I did, right? So I'm in idle, auto thrust is off, and the airplane is high. I'm trying to get down on profile and I have the speed brakes out. And as I'm descending down, I notice the airplane is just, it keeps wanting to accelerate. I'm like, we're at 220, and it keeps going faster, and I'm starting to get close to that flap speed. So I'm really thinking about why I couldn't figure it out. And it took me, honestly, about a good 30 seconds to realize what had happened. I also got a spoiler deployment up here. I said it in amber. So if you keep the spoilers out with thrust up, depending on which model you're on, the 1920 or 21, and if it's a Neo or not, you will actually get an ECAM here that says spoiler, and it'll be an amber saying, hey, retract your spoilers because you're adding thrust and you got the spoilers out, and it will actually limit your spoilers from deploying. And I'm thinking, why am I getting a spoiler ECAM when I'm at idle trying to slow this airplane down on the VNAV descent? What had happened, and I still don't know if it was me or the guy next to me, he accidentally bumped the thrust levers up. The thrust levers were actually just out of the idle detent. So the airplane was still speed on thrust mode, and the thrust was still actively producing thrust just above idle. So the airplane was saying, hey, you're adding thrust and you have the speed brakes out. I need you to figure it out. So after about 30 seconds, I realized, oh my, the thrust levers weren't at idle. So as soon as I put them into the idle detent, spoiler ECAM went away, airplane slowed down as I thought it would or should, and everything was fine. But that was just one of those little moments that kind of just popped out at me. I'm like, what is happening here? Why are we increasing thrust? Why am I getting why are we increasing speed? And why am I getting a spoiler or speed brake, it says speed brake, ECAM when I'm at idle? And it was just one of those little things where it quite wasn't at idle. And that's where the knowledge and understanding of the auto thrust system is important when you're flying any type of approach. But we got her down. Everything was good to go. Felipe, he's talking about the TLA. That's right. Yeah, so it is a thrust lever angle. Fuzzy Condor, yeah, so angle of thrust lever. Felipe, thank you for that. That's what I thought, but he says it's just the TLA. It remains from the old jets that use TLAs as the primary parameter for setting thrust. There you go. So it is the thrust lever angle. It doesn't have anything to do with the N1 percentage. So thank you, Felipe, for clearing that up, man. Airbus or Embraer? Airbus. Hey. Airbus, man. Look at this. We're getting ready to go over some SOCAT mountains out there. That is too cool. That is too cool. Let me pull up my charts here, Navigraph charts, and let's go ahead and close you LSZA here. Let's pull this up. Open the charts list. And I want to look at the approach. Does this tell you wind? Does it tell you what the actual wind is? No. So we're going to set up for the IGS-1. Oh, didn't want to do that. I really miss Avitab. And then if we have to circle, we can circle. But we got to get ILU 108.9 dialed in. And also, we also need to look at, so pink is at 5,000. Let me go back to the star here. I believe we were on this one. Sorona. Try to look at altitudes. At or above 6,000 for pink. So we're going to do 10,000 at 30 miles. So let's come back to the airplane here. I'm going to turn off Navigraph. So we got to have to kind of wing this because we don't have... I don't think we have fixed info, right? We don't have a fixed info page. I'm just trying to verify it's not on... Okay, so we don't have fixed info. What we are going to do is we're going to go RadNav. Hopefully we can tune this. Approach IGS runway 1, 108.9 ILU. So will it take ILU? No. So we're going to go 108.9. And the course is going to be 017 degrees. Interesting. And can we also tune, let me pull this back up here. For DME purposes, can we get an S, can we do SRN? Will it let me tune the NDB? I think it will, look at that. 330, wow, look at that. I actually picked it up, I don't know why it's flicking like that. That should be good. But we do need to descend down. Let's go ahead and drop it down to 1.5. Let's make it 180. We're going to vertical speed down here. Vertical speed 1200 down to 180. It's going to get a little bit bumpy. I'm going to go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. And we are also going to turn on terrain mode as we get lower. I love hearing that thrust go back here. Way to get banned there, Drew. Sam says that that's crazy. Does the real airplane... Oh, I left my chart up on the Navigraph. I hate that. I hate having to toggle this. Does the real airplane give you the amber message, and then once you retract them 10 seconds later, speed brake again? Yeah, it'll give you the amber, and it will depend if you're in a 321 or a 320 actually too, so it kind of varies. But yeah, you'll actually get an amber. You get an amber, and then after a while you actually get a ding, and it'll say flight control speed brake still out, and then you got to clear flight control. Sam says I get that in the sim in certain arrivals. It'll happen inadvertently if you are... Yeah, we're gonna pick up this descent. Let's go ahead and go open descent down to 15,000. It can happen inadvertently if you're on an RNAV arrival and the airplane thrusts up and you have your speed brakes out for a speed constraint. That can happen. But this particular time, it just kind of caught me off a little bit. Do I have any tutorial videos? Yes, Game Shock. I actually just started a whole series for this very airplane. It's the Airbus training series. Let me see if I can get a link for you, man. Let me pull it up. I just started an entire series for this very airplane. Also, if you guys are interested in why I start engine number 1 first, check out the single engine taxi in this video. I do a very detailed explanation of the hydraulic system in the Airbus and why, if you're going to single engine taxi, you really should start engine number 1. So I do a pretty lengthy explanation. Even if you fly FS Labs, even if you fly X-Plane only, check out the single engine taxi video out of that playlist right there, and that will explain to you some logic behind the hydraulics in the Airbus aircraft and why it's really, honestly, the correct way to start engine 1 first when you're going to single engine taxi. Now, if you're going to always go out on 2 engines, like maybe it's against your company SOP to single engine taxi, maybe you have to always use both, then honestly it really doesn't make a difference because you're going to have both engines running before you leave. So for us, single engine taxi is a big deal. David Christie says those graphics are beautiful. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I wish you guys were seeing it at 1080p. I'm just waiting on Starlink, guys. If I can get Starlink hooked up, we're going to be back in full 1080p, and it'll be awesome. So I'm just waiting on Starlink. Let's see what happens here in the next month or two. But yeah, the graphics in this sim are unreal. Anthony says the series sounds incredible because of the videos. I finally bit the bullet and bought Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 last night just for the 320. Anthony, that's awesome, man. Glad to hear it, dude. Check out the videos. Share them with your friends. Get them out there, man. It's I'm putting a lot of time in them. I'm trying to make them really good quality. I'll probably try to do the same thing next week. So we'll take this weekend off. I'll try to release maybe 2 more videos next week, and then we'll finish up with another stream. And then I don't want to say it's a bare bones series, but we'll just do the basics. Like we're going to do takeoff next, then we're going to do approaches. And then as more systems become functional, I will continue to add to that series on the FS 2020 Airbus. And it's only going to be for the FS 2020 Airbus. But there are things in there in that single engine taxi video that I think everybody should watch regarding the hydraulics. So I do take my time. I try to put in inserts and images and clip them for you, make them nice and clean. I did upload a rough copy on my last video, and then I didn't want to upload it again. All right, we're 16, descending 15,000. Things are looking good here. We are definitely getting into the turbulence. Let's check out our destination data here. Is there... I really wish there was... I got to go through this thing. I don't have... I wonder if it's in range here. Let's see what the real weather is in the sim. Hasn't quite popped up yet. It looks like a video you would see after you win a trip on Wheel of Fortune. Maximilian says the videos are highlighted in my subs. Awesome, Maximilian. Glad to hear it, dude. All right, so let's look at our perf data here. Next phase. All right, so for the 320, minimum autopilot altitude 500 feet. We got that in the box there. I think the last time I saw the winds, they were 355 at 5. If one of you guys can pull up the weather for LSZA, that would be very much appreciated. I'm just going to go with what I had here. I know it's old. 29.8 or 29. It doesn't need a decimal. .80. I guess that works. Config full. All right, so there is GEN. Let's go ahead and step down to 12,000. Open descent. We're going to be auto brakes medium, flaps full, full reverse. And as we come down here, it looks like we're going to be able to see exactly where we're going. Oh my gosh, look at this snow. Look at this terrain, dude. This is awesome. Tranquil says, I know you don't fly it, but they're making a highly detailed 380 for the sim. Pretty much the same layout, but a few more systems. That's awesome. I would love to see the 380 in the sim. When did you install this release? Robinson, last night, I believe, is when I loaded the latest dev version. Ramon says, I really enjoyed the single-engine taxi video. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Robinson said, I did single-engine taxi last night. There you go. Once you guys get comfortable with it, do it in the sim. Do the single-engine taxi. There's all the airplanes taxi just fine, single-engine. You got to use a little bit of thrust here on the 320 on the Neo mod, but I think as they get more refined, it'll be a little bit easier. Are you going to hear that wind howling? Yes, sir. What's your opinion on using differential thrust on a crosswind landing? What do you mean differential thrust on a crosswind landing? You always want to keep your thrust symmetrical. You're going to have your ailerons cross-controlled a little bit, but you always want to keep your thrust symmetrical. You shouldn't be using asymmetrical thrust in a crosswind. Latest from JetBlue 671. He says variable at 2, Cavoke minus, oh, it's colder, -1, -4, 10-15 in the box. Okay, thank you. So we'll just set that up here. We'll go -1. Appreciate you, man. And what I will do here, since it's variable, I'm just going to go 0 for 0 on the wind. 10-15. Will it? Does it want QNH? Is that what it wants? There we go. We'll do QNH 10-15. So autopilot altitude, guys, it'll be company specific, but for generally speaking, if you're in a 320 or 319, you can use the autopilot down to 500 feet when you don't have any approach and you're just on a visual. And if you are in a 321, you should up that to about 900 feet, and then you'll be solid as far as autopilot control. All right, so we're 120 miles from LSZA. We're at 12,000 feet. We're looking good. We're going to stay here for a little bit, burn a little extra gas before we make our right angle turn. Oh my gosh, look at that view, huh? Chris says, from the latest METAR 3 minutes ago, just popped out variable at 2 knots. Perfect. So the question is, do we even want to attempt to circle, or should we just go straight in? Honestly, straight in is my preferred method, but I know you guys wanted to see a circle. We are not authorized to circle. What is our 135 on the VAP? So 135 is our VAP speed. Now I'll pull up the chart for you guys for the circling here. Let me show you this. So if we go to LSZA approach, circle with flight tracks, which we don't have any of that, so this is completely illegal. You're supposed to break off the approach at 1.7 from the localizer, which is ILU 108.9er. Take 042 outbound at 2,600 feet, stay within 3 nautical miles from the airport, and crank and bank to 197. Here's the kicker. Max knots, and this is based on ground speed too, 135 for Cat B. We are a C aircraft here for the most part, so it is not applicable. Only applicable by operators holding a contingency procedure approved by the Federal Office for Civil Aviation. Prohibited west after the prohibited west of the runway after the low. So definitely illegal. Nighttime, it's not authorized. But I mean, we can attempt if you really want to. I don't even know if we can make that. That is a tight turn there. We are going to be cranking and banking. Here's the other thing. We are not going to be able to follow the glide slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pure visual. There is a pure visual chart. I don't have it with me on the download, but you basically come in through here, you follow the river, and then you pick up the Pappies over here. You're going to be flying pretty much all reds all the way in because I can't fly in the 320, a 6.5 degree glide slope. We're not capable. We don't have steep approach mode. Either 319 or 318, I believe you can do it. But this airplane is not fitted for that. So either way, let's keep it real. This is FUBAR. Go straight in. We can go straight in. But I think we'll be all right. All right, we'll get rid of this chart. We no longer need it. That is so beautiful there. The reflection of the sun on the water. This is the dev version, Martin 80. This is the dev version. Hotshot says, I'm so happy with that little engine whine that it has at thrust level. Hotshot, the sounds are fantastic, dude. They really are, man. I'm not just saying it. You know I am a big sound guy, and it's very, very good work. Gonna turn Microsoft Flight Sim into DCS. Yeah, that's a quarter mile 180 back in, man, to the BRC. So it's Cav Oak, so we're going to be fine as far as wind condition goes. Do any of your videos have a landing at PAJN? I struggle with that one because the approach is at 15-degree offset from the runway due to the small net. PAGN. I know that identifier. Let me I'm going to look it up here because it's going to bother me. Anchorage? Is it Anchorage? Juneau. Duh. No, I have not. I wanted to do Alaska, though, in the next stream. So we will do Alaska in the next stream. I saw another streamer go into Alaska. It was absolutely beautiful. So this sim is stunning, especially when you start flying in these crazy areas. So we will do Juneau next, and we will do an offset approach. That is the one into Anchorage, correct? I remember doing that in Flight Sim X on the King Air, practicing the offset approach. That is normal, man. There are some approaches that just have that offset, and you can actually, in the US, there's a certain amount of degrees that you are permitted to have an offset localizer course, and then after it reaches a certain amount of degrees from the final approach, or from the, I guess, the runway center line, then it becomes what we call a non-precision approach, but you can still fly it. There are some approaches that come in almost 30 degrees off from the center line, but that's when you have to be visual with the runway, and you've got to be in a normal position to land. Juneau, I got you. Thanks, man. Thank you, V1, says Hotshot. I bet you'll be excited to hear the IAE V2500 sounds that I started working on recently. Now that, Hotshot, that sounds even better. Are you guys going to be putting out the IAE, like an IAE variant? Oh man, look at this one with the sun coming off here. That would be cool to see. Z-Boogie says, are you back to work yet? Yes, man. I've been flying all week, dude. This is my first. I was actually supposed to fly today, believe it or not, but I got removed for a training pairing. Somebody had to do some training, so I figured I would do one more stream, finish up the week of videos that we did in FS 2020, finish it up here with a stream, and we'll probably try to follow the same schedule next week. I'll try to get 2 videos out in the series, and then we'll finish up with the stream. If we got more time, we might do a little bit more. We might sneak an X-plane in there. Here's the problem. I'm starting to notice when you start flipping between sims, between X-plane and FS 2020, the YouTube algorithm does not like that. It likes you to have consistent content. That's why you've seen a lot of content creators actually start splitting their channel. So if you want to see, you know, digital combat, you go to this channel, and you want to see this, you go to this channel, but it's the same creator. I've started to see that happen, and I've kind of noticed that in the analytics of the channel when I flip between sims. I know we did some P3D stuff, and then we did some FS 2020 and then X-plane. So it does affect the channel a little bit. Golden State, yeah, I did see that aircraft carrier add-on for FS 2020. I can't even, man. I can't even. Hotshot says we will indeed be making an older 320-232. Ooh, yeah. Variant with the FOPs, CRT screens, dirty screens, and old systems. Hotshot, wow, that's right up my alley, man. I like old school. I can't believe I'm calling a CEO Airbus old school, but in this day and age, it's becoming that way. That sounds exciting, man. Brucey, I don't. Maniac, there you go. Bourbon Air. That's my answer. Bourbon Air, Brucey. How was going back to work? It was awesome, man. Honestly, it felt good to get back in the cockpit. All the little things that you kind of forget that you miss, you know, interacting with people. I was looking to have good crews throughout the week, so just the social interaction again. I know it's been crazy. Everyone's, depending on where you are, locked down or not locked down. But to be able to interact with actual humans again, and it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. Good flying, good weather. Other than my little speed break mishap. I wouldn't even call it a mishap, but everything was pretty smooth. Had some good landings. Flew into New York as well. That was fun coming in. Did the expressway visual in real life. That was a lot of fun in a 321. So that was good. Dulles Bounce says, does Las Vegas have an offset approach with hard left right near the runway? Not off the top of my head, Dulles Bound. Now, I know there is a RNAV visual in Las Vegas where you come in at an angle. We actually do the RNAV visual quite a bit in the sim. It's a good training one. You have a published visual approach. Oh, look at this turn. That is so cool. But not off the top of my head, man. I'd have to look at all the approach charts again for Vegas. Do you have to use face masks in the cockpit? Yeah, so when the cockpit door is open, you gotta be masked up. Everybody does. When the cockpit door is shut, you can take them off if you want, but that's probably a company specific. Jump and run. You're playing with my heartstrings here. Are you serious, man? I just read the Airfoil Labs is developing a DC-3 for X-plane. Wow. If that is true, my friend, that is awesome. All right, so there's our turn. Lugano is up here, so we're still looking good. How's our fuel? There we go. Yeah, we're down to 13.9. Yeah, we're below max. So our max landing weight, 140. Well, we're not in a CEO, so it's not 145.05. It's actually more than that. So we're good. We're below max. 148.791, I believe. So that's good. We're below max. We're burning a little bit of fuel. Our decel point up there near SRN. This is looking good. So what we're going to do here as we approach LSZA, or Lugano, I'm going to descend the aircraft down, and we're actually going to offset from the final approach course because we're not going to fly straight in because we just can't. We don't have the performance to maintain that vertical profile. So we're actually going to offset a little bit to the east. We're going to go in the valley. Do we have a map here? I think we have a map, right? Does the VFR map still crash the sim? I'll leave it off. But we'll go into the valley, up the river, and then take it up. It's going to be a beautiful approach. I think, oh man, look at this. That might be the most beautiful shot. There's a screenshot right there. Print screen. This might be one of the most fun and appealing visually approaches that I've done in X-plane. I think it rallies Lowy. I think it really does. Diego says, I have an issue when I try to flare on the Airbus. Instead of landing, the plane goes up to the sky again, even my speed of 135. Are you in FS 2020? If you're in FS 2020, I know the airplane is extremely pitch sensitive, I think, and in that you get on that ground. I think they still have to work on the flight model, and that's coming. But you just have to, what I've learned, that you really got to put some curves in. So let me show you real quick. So I said I would do it. Oh, I'm going to go up here. Let me go options. So I've been doing a lot of tweaking with my Warthog. Let me show you the type of curves I have here real quick, then we'll get back. So sensitivity, this is what I have here for my X and Y axis. Minus 33, minus 32. I couldn't get it to 33. 31, 31. So I'm actually almost 30% curves there. We'll go ahead and done. You can pause that screen and go back to it. And I think that 30 curve really does help smooth out the resolution issues, I think, with the side stick and the desktop, and then Flight Sim 2020. Try putting in those curves first and see what you get. Michael Stitt says, I'm currently flying the Neo and X-Plane on VATSIM because the fly-by-wire FMC is still limited. Awesome, man. The Neo and X-Plane is a heck of a lot of fun, too. Dola says it is an RNAV. Yep. 19 left. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know why I said 1. Yeah, 19 left, 19 right, RNAV visual. Yep. I've done that approach many times, man. I used to love, when we flew corporate jets in there, you wouldn't even request the runway. You would just, they would say, you know, expect, whatever, the 25s or whatnot, and then you would just check on with the request. That's how that would be. Like, it would be the request, and the controllers knew that you wanted to do the RNAV visual because the FBOs are over on that side of the airport. So they would just know, yep, okay, you're clear for the RNAV visual. That's a fun approach, man. I've actually done it in the Airbus a couple times, too. You come in right in over the strip. Beautiful. Am I done with X-Plane? I'm not done with X-Plane, but flipping between sims does hurt the channel for sure. It hurts the channel for sure, because YouTube doesn't really like when you alternate content. It likes to see the same type of content. But X-Plane is still going to be around for a while, man. There's actually the new update from the 321 Neo with the soft go-around mode that would be nice to have in this approach right now, because, well, I don't think we'd be doing any soft go-around on this approach. We might actually need a full-blown go-around. Can you set seating position for FO if needed? I don't know, Funnel. I think you can. If you do the view tutorial that XP72 did, you can set up your default view wherever you want it. Nope, I do not use Rex Weather Force, Paul. This is all default weather, man. All right, so we are approaching 80 miles out. So we are well ahead of the game here. 30 at 10,000 is what you're looking for. 30 at 10,000, 250. So we got plenty of time here. We're gonna actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. There we go. 300 on the speed. We'll make it 320 on the speed. How's that? We'll spool them up. Oh yeah. Bravo Tango, welcome back. Man says, made it in time for the landing. With you, V1. I'm with you, man. Awesome. Yeah, we are just getting ready to start our final descent into Lugano. Shaquille Oatmeal, what's going on, brother? He says, how are you doing, V1 in chat? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Hope you're having a good Friday as well. Where's the FNO tonight, guys? Where's the FNO on VATSIM? I don't think I'll be streaming, but I may be pulling out the bourbon call sign on the FNO tonight. We'll see. What is soft go-around mode? So a soft go-around basically makes the airplane react a lot more subtle in a go-around phase. So a typical go-around, you think you're close to the runway, max thrust, max performance climbing out. If you've ever been on a go-around in real life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of passengers get nervous on a go-around, but there's really no reason at all to be nervous on a go-around. From a pilot's perspective, we actually enjoy doing the go-around. Now, a soft go-around would apply if you're a little bit higher up. Say maybe you're still outside of 1,000 feet, and it's just not going to work, and tower wants you to go around, or you want to go around before you get down low level. And there's a certain threshold that determines if it's a soft go-around or not. But essentially, instead of going to maximum thrust, it will actually just go to climb thrust. It'll give you just enough thrust that you need to comply with any restrictions. It's a lot less violent and a lot less abrupt in the go-around phase. It's a soft go-around. Now, it's interesting that my last flight I did, or one of my last flights I did before going on leave back in 2020, I actually had to do a soft go-around in Chicago O'Hare. And it kind of caught me off because I went to go around, but the airplane knew it was a soft go around, so it went go around soft, GA soft, and there's a couple other things that go on. So I'm actually going to do a video on that here. Maybe we might either do a video or stream next week on it in the new updated 321. Want to try? Oh, a showcase cam. There's some flyby sounds. Let me try. All right, so I'm still learning my showcase controls here. That's cool, though. So do a flyby. Do I just release drone follow mode? That was pretty cool. Come back here, airplane. I heard it zip by. There's got to be a better way to do that. Bravo Tango says, I've never been in a go-around, and I wish it happens for me, but I'd probably be the most inconvenient time. They are, yeah, you probably have to go to the bathroom or something, and then the airplane goes around. No, I really enjoy, honestly, I enjoy doing go-arounds in real life because it kind of breaks up the traditional everyday go in, land. Now, the reason for the go-around can also change your opinion on that, too. Like, if it's a traffic conflict, that's never as fun. Oh my gosh, look at that sky color, though. F&O is in Texas? DFW? Oh, man. Bourbon Train out of DFW. We might have to hop on that. Maybe it'll be a members-only stream. Might do a members-only stream out of DFW on the F&O tonight. That would be fun. What percentage study level would you say the 3.2 Neo is compared to the FS Labs 320? Well, for the FS Lab, I mean, it's still got a long way to go to be at that level. I think the priority right now, the fly-by-wire team, is getting all the basic day-to-day functions modeled, because when this airplane came out, it had pretty much zero of that. And let me go back to my cockpit view here. It's definitely getting to that day-to-day. I would almost put, I think it's pretty close to what I would say, what is on the line. You know how INI did there. We'll go ahead and reduce speed back to 250. We're down to 10,000 feet. Open descent. I'm going to go ahead and cheat here. We'll go vertical speed 300. Crack the speed brakes a little bit. So I like how INI worded their airplane. They said it's an on-the-line version. So it has everything day-to-day that you would normally use. And I think the fly-by-wire team is getting there. I mean, they're getting very close to that day-by-day operation. Now, once the flight model tweaks come out and the FMGCs continue to get tweaked, I mean, you're going to be... The way these guys are working, man, who knows? It could be a couple of months. It could be... who knows? I'm very excited to see where this airplane will be in, say, 6 months from now. I think you're going to see a completely different airplane than you see right now. All right, there's 10,000. We'll go ahead and stow the speed brakes. We'll go ahead and... Al says it's a Texas Crossfire event. Houston, Dallas, Houston. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's not an F&O. Jeez. Do all 320s have ice detection? No. No, I believe it's an option. Airfoil Lab 350s for tonight, says Team Vodka. Ooh, 350s. I don't know, that's an idea. I'll think about it, man. We'll have to think. What about like, what about, pulling up the chart here, let's see. MD-80? Could do MD-80s. Alright, IGS-1 here, let's go ahead and see what's going on. Pink was at 5. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna come in. Do I have ADF yet? I don't think I do. BORNDB. I don't think it's picked up yet. This is where we're going to start winging it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and drop down to 8,000. And let's activate confirm if we haven't already. Activate confirm. Config full. I should have done transition altitude. I think it was 10,000, wasn't it? Yeah, so let's just go ahead and push you in. I need to switch barometer reference to 1015. That should be good. Clear out my scratch pad. I was going to set 18,000, and we're going to clear that out. VLS is 129, so we're looking good. We are looking real good. There's through 10,000 feet. Let's get our lights on. I know Europe, they get really pissed off if I turn this wing light on, but for cinematic purposes, you can't beat that shot. Look at the sun getting ready to go down. Concorde for tonight, Jungly Sim. Oh, let me get rid of this Navigraph. Gosh, I hate that thing. I look up and I see what the stream is showing. I may fly Microsoft Flight Sim because the DFW in there right now looks arguably better than Aerosoft. I agree, Sam. Buildings at least. I might have to be in FS 2020 myself if we do it. We'll check the Discord here in a little bit. So there is our Lugano is right back there. So we are going to dip in through there. We're going to go ahead and continue our descent. Let's go ahead and keep coming down. Make it 6,000 feet now. All Italia 1013. Let's send and maintain 6,000 feet. River 12 o'clock and 20 miles. River's in sight. Cleared for the visual to runway. What runway is this? 3-1. Whatever the northbound runway is. 3-3? 3-5? I think it's 3-5. 0-1. It's the freaking runway. ILS runway 1. There we go. I'm going to take us all the way down now to 4,000 feet. All the way down to 4,250 on the speed. And we're actually going to dial that back. We're going to go all the way back to 180 right now. I'm going to vertical speed us down so I can kind of force it down. 1,000 feet per minute. Let's get the speed brakes out. Look at that shot. Did you say spoiler or spoid brakes on your first day back? No, I did not say spoid brakes. Did not say spoid brakes, but I did say yoga in my head. I did say yoga. I had to remember not to go to full toga. I had to remember not to go to full toga. I do remember that. That was an awkward moment. I pushed the thrust levers up. I'm like, okay, stop there. Yep, and flex. Bravo Tango says I'm calling for an Iberia flight next time we fly around Europe. We're going to have to. I can't wait. 20,000 subs, guys. At 20K subs, we're doing our next tour. And if you've been around the channel, you know what that means. But we're going to, essentially what the tour is we're going to fly to a certain continent or a certain part of the world. And we basically fly all around it. We check out all the challenging approaches and everything else. So we're going to have to hand fly. Actually, I really want to use the autopilot, though. So I'm going to go, here we go. We're going to go heading mode. And we're going to send 3,000. Open descent. Let's go. There's VFE X -1, flaps 1. I wanted to use the autopilot because we don't have replay mode. So we're going to go in this, and then we're going to swing around and land. I believe it's over here. Let's get those spoid brakes out. Yeah, so we're going to... Actually... We could... I don't know if we can make that turn. We're gonna cut in through here and then go around. Yeah, because the river is over there. I think I made this mistake last time. We went up the wrong river. We don't want to do that again. All right, there's VFE next, minus 10 flaps 2. Still got the spoid brakes out. We're slowing down, coming down. Navy Land, what's up, man? All right, who would build the airport in the mountains with all the flat terrain in the front? I know. Look at this view right here. Are you kidding me? Any flights planned to Greece in 2021? Well, you'll have to see. If you haven't already, hit that sub button so we can get to our next tour. All right, we are a little bit high, so I'm going to go autopilot off. I'm going to hand fly this. Auto thrust is coming off. Give me the bird. Flight director's off. Spoid brake is out. Dial back to 160. And now we're going to actually go around this. We're going to go here and then around this mountain. So I'm going to sneak out to the left here, or to the right, excuse me. So I've got my bird up. Love the frickin' bird. Give me the bird in chat. If you got emojis, give me that bird in chat, guys. We do need to start slowing up, though. Come on. There we go. So we're going to maintain 3,000 as we come around here. I'm going to go flaps 3 out of sequence. So VFE minus 10, flaps 3, 1,000 feet to go. Now, we may totally screw this approach up, but it's so beautiful that I don't care. We'll have to fly it again. There's the river that we're going to be taking. So we're going to make this turn here, and we're going to go S-turn around the river. Look at that. If you haven't already, hit the like button for that shot right there. This rivals Lowy. I think this rivals the Lowy approach. Hit the like button for that. I'll stow the spoid brakes here. We'll come back up. Let's make this turn. After I make this turn, I'm going to go ahead and extend the landing gear. So this is a steep turn here. We're going to come all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and manage the speed now. We're going to cut this corner here. Gears coming down. So we could have come up this valley right here. We could have come right up through here, but that wouldn't be a cinematic. So we're taking the cinematic approach. Gears down. Look at this.
2,500.
Flaps full. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue to descend below 3,000 now. I believe Lugano is going to be over there. We'll head on the speed brakes. Cabin crew advised. I got to hit the all button. The forward button, I guess.
Cabin crew, please take your seat behind.
And we're going to come all the way down to 2,000 now. And now we're going to see 4 reds. There's nothing we can do about it because we can't fly 6.5 degrees or whatever it is. So we're going to go all the way down to 2,000, and then we're going to fly a self-proclaimed 3-degree path with the bird to track FPA. All right, so there's 2,000. I'm going to go ahead and set 3 degrees now. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my speed so you can see I've got the tail on the horizon. That's about a 3-degree path. We're coming down to our final approach speed. Things are looking good. Things are looking real good. Get my view back. There's the runway at our 1 o'clock. We don't have replay mode, so I got to get these views in now. Gosh, I wish we had replay. I'm going to overshoot the final approach course there a little bit. All right, we are approaching 2.5. We're at 1,500 feet, so we're looking good. We're actually a little bit low, so I can actually shallow out this descent rate just a tad here. Trying to get my landing view seat position. There we go. This is saying a 13-knot headwinds. This is a good thing that we're not circling around right here.
500.
Stable. Runway in sight, a landing. keep coming down.
4.
I will probably use manual brakes as soon as we land too. And I got medium set. Trying to keep that descent rate in the green there, 1,000 feet or less. Come on, baby.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Manual brakes. Oh, 70 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lugano. We are here. What a touchdown that was. We'll go ahead and disconnect the auto brakes there. Whew. Wow. Take it easy, Shaquille. Robin Tango says, I don't know who said it, but I'm also convinced I'm reinstalling Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm telling you guys, this type of lighting, and this is all default. I have no add-on scenery here, and it really is something. There's something to be said about this sheer beauty. All right, let's go ahead and make this turn here. Can I get a little asymmetric thrust, please? Anthony says, that was incredibly smooth. Thank you, man. I'll have to see what Sim Toolkit Pro said here. Let me see. Sim Toolkit Pro gave me 66 feet per minute at 0.98 G, according to Sim Toolkit Pro. 66. I will take that. Normally, we won't reconfigure on the runway, but since we are got a long taxi back here, we are going to reconfigure. So we'll go ahead and disarm the spoid brakes here. We'll retract them. We'll get the flaps all the way up. We're going to keep all our lights on, though, as we taxi to the end of the runway. But, man, that's got to be my favorite approach in the sim. I think that's my favorite approach in the sim. Everyone's like, it's got to be lowy. Lowy is fun, but this is the most beautiful approach that you can fly. Now, granted, we were doing it kind of a little bit ad hoc, coming in over the river and whatnot, but that's what Flight Sim is for, man. To be able to do things that you can't or should not do in real life. That's why we have Flight Sim. So we're going to go ahead and take the next turn. We're not going to take that. We're going to take the next one, and then we'll taxi in over here. There's another airplane. Looks like another Embraer or something. But we are here. Look at the lights. All right, so this is a narrow taxiway here, so let's go ahead and swing a tad wide. And I'm also going to prime the APU. Here we go. Swing it around, baby, swing. There we go. Should be good enough. APU is going to spool up. Let's go ahead and get our landing lights off. Strobe lights off. What we're going to do is we're going to make it real hard for the next guy to get out of here. We're going to make a hard left here. We're going to park it right here. It's probably not even a good parking spot for us, but all right. Brakes are set. APU is still spooling up here. We'll go ahead and shut off engine 2. I got my self-made PTU running. Those sounds, man. Even that shutdown sound. Whew. And if you wanted to hear a PTU, you've got my dog in the background. APU says available any second now. We should be getting a green here. Come on, baby. I know we have external power. Actually, no, we'll do this. We'll go external power for now. Seatbelt sign. Engine 1. Spool it down. Oh, yeah. Gotta love it, man. Hotshot sounds fantastic, dude. 5% N1 will kill the beacon light. APU is fully available now here. We'll get the bleed on. It's nice and chilly here, so let's go ahead and warm the cabin. Listen to the bleed. Listen to the flow. You hear the pack spool up? Turn off that wing line, too. Don't piss off any European guys. That is it. We are here. We can go ahead and shut her down. I don't even think there's anything that... I don't think... Ground services, can they do anything here? Call the fuel truck, I guess.
Lugano ground ramp flight Alpha Zulu Alpha 101 tree. Could you please send a fuel truck?
Flight Alpha Zulu Alpha
You can see what airplane I was flying before this one, Amflight. Alright guys, we don't have a replay mode yet. I did see a mod that was available that should be coming soon for replay mode, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. But that is going to wrap up our flight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon here. Do we have a... Can I actually put you guys into the sail music? I don't know if I can here. Let's see. I sure can. Sure can. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me this Friday afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you may have tuned in from. FlyByWire Mod, guys, you guys are fantastic. Keep up the good work. It is unbelievable how much work these guys are putting into this airplane. It's a good sign of things to come. That's for sure. I can definitely say that with 100% confidence. I cannot wait to see what this airplane is going to be in another month or in 2 months, 6 months from now. So, guys, keep up the good work. Everyone else hanging out with me on the chat, my mods, sponsors, donors, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for modding the channel. Everyone else hanging out, love you guys just as much. I hope you have a wonderful, safe weekend. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!